Today we're talking about cropping images. What would you do with the result and where would you use those results? We're going to look at 3 examples related to this topic of cropping. Okay, on this first one, if you have this image, I think that's about as large as I can go full screen. Say we want to try to crop out this man or this person holding this steel beam. What you want to do, you could right click, you'll see the crop image come up. So you want to hit crop. And notice how the 4 corners and the 4 sides, let me reduce this a little bit, are now heavy bolded. And notice the pointer goes from an arrowhead. Oh, that's the four direction arrows. But once I go to the corners or handles, notice how it goes to a T. So what we want to do is just slide this side over. And let's go from the bottom here. Let's go up, get some of the bottom that the platform of what the guy is standing on, and we'll call it good. Now, to save the crop, you can either click outside of the image or you can go to the next slide. So let's just click on the outside of the image and it's saved. Now, what do you want to do with this? You can copy that, paste it again, paste it in another slide. We're going to show you later where you can paste it into another program. But the neatest thing is that you can blow it up to get more detail. And of course, you could crop it again if you wanted to. Goes back to the original image. Let's say we want to kill the man this time, not kill the man, remove the man. Click outside of the image. Now you have a new image that you can enlarge, copy, paste someplace else, or whatever the case is you want to do. So that's example 1. I call it crop accordingly. Let's copy this image. You can hit right click, copy, or you can press Control C. And our next little exercise is to put it into 2 other programs. Here, let's just go to the bottom of this file. Here we can just press Control V, and there's your image. Or if you wanted to bring in Excel, here's an Excel file. You can do the same thing with it by pressing Control V as in Victor. And there's that image. Let's reduce it a little bit so you can see it. So that's how you would copy a cropped image or a partial image into another program. Just a few more points on copying into another program. You can copy into email, Excel and Word as we've shown, PowerPoint, makes sense, Notepad, Google Docs, WordPad, or even your video editor. If you do it into a video editor, it has to be a file. So you have to save it as a file, and we're going to show that in the next example. And there may be other programs out there you may need to save an image into. I use it a lot of using screen prints where I've got dual screens here. So I'll just do a screen print of something like a receipt or something else, cut out the screen I'm not really using and save that as a file or put it someplace where I can get into it later. I did find out that the little program WordPad on the Android phone has its own built-in editor. I was putting our COVID cards in it in case we need to show them to anyone, and found out that it had its own little editor, or at least cropping editor. So look around, you may be able to save a little work just by perusing your phone. On this second example, let's cut out this heart, or not cut out, the crop. Now crop's at the bottom because we're near the lower edge of the screen. And we'll just do it something like that. Click outside. Now to save it as another file, you just go to File, Save As, and you can save it as a GIF or JPEG or PNG or whatever you want to save it as, and then paste it into your Word or your video editor or whatever else that may need the file. I normally use JPGs. They typically work everywhere, and then hit save. Oh, one thing you need to be aware of, let's go ahead and follow this up. Let's call this cropping of heart. We want JPG. When you hit save, it's going to ask you, do you want to save all the slides exported or just this one? Typically, you just want to do just this one. So now that image is now a file. So that's how you would save it, as a JPG file or some other file. Now, as far as deleting our cropped areas, let's go back to our previous image. If we go back to crop, all of this area out here can be thrown away or permanently deleted, I guess is a better term, by going to the picture format option, and then this little icon here will give you the cropping option. So in the actual program, if I click on this image, go to picture format, and go here, you'll notice it says compress pictures in this document to reduce its size. And you have 3 options that you can choose from depending on where you want to send the application, or not the application, but the file, the PowerPoint file. You can apply to this just this picture. You can delete cropped areas, and you can change the resolution. Now you can also not undelete cropped areas, but you can go back and reverse cropping. I guess that's the term I've been using. If you're going to crop this image, if you crop this image and you've cropped this black area out, all we have to do is you'll just pull these corners back to the original spot. And that's how you would uncrop something that you've already cropped. Had to slide the whole image. Okay, there you go. That's how you would uncrop it. You'd basically use these handles to go back to the original spots of the original image. So that's uncropping. We talked about saving as a JPG file, and we talked about deleting all cropped areas. Our last example was really about undeleting, but we've already gone over it. So you want to crop out all of this stuff here. So you just move this handle, bring this down. Now you have just a little short. Now you have just the basketball player and the ball that's in his hand. And we've already gone over how to uncrop. put the handles back. Then we've also talked about how to permanently delete the cropped areas. Go into picture format, the compress option, and then pick the one you want to use. So that was going to be uncropping. So in summary, we have shown how you should really envision the cuts before you start. Crops can be cut from either the corner or the side handles. You want to try to keep the aspect ratio the same. That's basically the length to width ratio. So you want to stretch the image. You should be aware that you can uncrop an image or reverse crop it, or whatever is the correct term. To save the image or to save the cropping, you click outside of the image or move to the next slide. And deleting cropped images saves space in your PowerPoint file. So have fun with it. Be sure to let me know if you have any questions, and happy PowerPointing. Crop till you drop.